Well, there have been lots of incidents in the last few years that have stirred up lots of racial conversation. A lot of them having to do with unarmed black men being killed, often by authorities, police officers. And it's so grieving, you know, it's so difficult to think about and work through. And one of the things that I think, if the church is going to respond to all these incidents, we have to be very intentional about it. You know, the world is talking about these things because they keep happening. And it would be a wasted opportunity for us if we didn't ask ourselves, there are terrible things happening out there. What kind of terrible things are happening in here? You know, what kind of prejudice is happening within our churches? What kind of unwillingness to bend for the sake of unity happen inside our churches? What types of stereotypes do I believe? What types of racial prejudice exist in my heart? If we don't ask those questions, I think we're making a mistake. And if we don't think about how the gospel that we preach speaks into those, we're making a mistake. So what we have right now is an amazing opportunity, a grieving opportunity, but an amazing opportunity to talk about how the gospel of grace speaks into those things. And I think it's an opportunity for us to examine ourselves and help the world see some things. So we see this racial divide out in the world. And Jesus says, hey, people are going to know you're my disciples by the way you love one another. Let's show the world the kind of unity that the gospel can produce. And when the world comes among us, they at least see little bits of, these people would never be friends. What's going on there? You know, let's show them the kind of unity the gospel can bring. And then Shai Linne has a song called Christ Crucified, and one of the lines says, which way is up when authorities are corrupt? Which I think is an insightful line. You know, who am I to turn to when the authorities I'm supposed to turn to themselves are corrupt? I don't think all cops are corrupt. Most cops, I think, are good cops. But we can't know that for sure because cops are sinners and sinners have biases and issues. And the only people around on earth to put in those roles is sinners. So it's an opportunity for us to say, yes, cops can be corrupt and judges can be corrupt and presidents can be corrupt. And that can mean that there are terrible injustices and we should grieve and fight those injustices. But the hope of the gospel is that there is a perfect judge, that there's a perfect authority, that there will be perfect judgment, and that we can trust in Jesus. We can escape the judgment that we deserve for our sin, but we can know that God will bring perfect justice. The world, there's not a lot of hope. There's corruption. But when we look to Christ and the perfect judge, there's nothing but hope. And we get to call people into a relationship with that judge. What a privilege that is. And so we want to use this opportunity to examine ourselves, speak that unity to the world, call people to know the perfect judge. And from that, knowing the perfect judge, fight for justice in this world as much as we can, knowing that true justice will come in the next.